What's going on, Washington fans? Welcome to Taking Command with Josh Taylor here on the YouTube channel. And by God, it is finally time. It is week one for the NFL season. This is Thursday night that I'm recording this, literally just hours away from Buffalo and the Rams kicking off the first game of the season, real game, no preseason, no practice, nothing like that. Strap up your helmets, get your cleats on, and hit somebody and play some real football. But like I said, there's a game going on tonight, but the game I'm here to talk about is Sunday at FedEx Field. The Jacksonville Jaguars travel up to Landover, Maryland to take on our Washington Commanders. So, of course, I'm excited to break down a couple things. A really interesting nugget that I found about Trevor Lawrence that might give Washington some trouble come Sunday, but also a couple things for Washington that I like and just some big-time matchups I can't wait to see. But, guys, I always got to say, the support of Taking Command with Josh Taylor is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Their products are precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer. That is 20% off and free shipping worldwide with my code COMMAND20, as you see at the bottom of the screen there. Head over. Doesn't matter what you get, how many items you get, how much you spend, 20% off your entire purchase and free shipping at manscaped.com. Now, guys, I have to say, this thing right here included in that perfect package is the Weed Eater. And I've never had a nose trimmer until I've had this thing, and I had no idea what I was missing. I love this thing. Keeps me clean because, guys, women do not like long nose hair sticking out, and you do not want stuff getting caught up in all that mess. So like I said, guys, get 20% off and free shipping with the code COMMAND20, like you see at the bottom of the screen there at manscaped.com. It's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code unlock your confidence, and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. And speaking of confidence, if you want to get things going for Washington and you want to be confident in this matchup, and a lot of fans are confident, Jacksonville hasn't been the best team last few years. But this might be a new look Jacksonville Jaguar team, and that's what I'm here to talk about. So, of course, we have these injuries that have kind of been lingering. There's some from last year. Of course, Chase Young. Logan Thomas is questionable. Don't know how much he's going to play. But the one that really has come up recently that worries me is Cam Curl. He's likely a game-time decision. We've seen the cast. We've seen the picture of his thumb and how that really looks uncomfortable for him. And it really worries me. It could be much worse. It could be like something to have to do with your legs where you can't run. The thumb, at least you can put a cast on it. At least you can kind of do something to help out. But still, when it comes to, fighting with hands, catching an interception, anything like that, pass deflections, you just don't know how much that lingers. If he even plays, we don't even know. I think they're going to wait till probably Sunday morning to come out and say that he actually is playing. So I think it's going to be a true game time decision for him. I've been saying, all week long. I think it's something you could play through. I don't know if they want him to, but that's a big piece for us. And that's the nugget I seen when I really just studied Trevor Lawrence. And of course, last year, with Urban Meyer, just inept coaching, just did not have a good coaching staff. Urban Meyer was more worried about what he was doing after the game than developing his young quarterback. So one thing I seen from Trevor Lawrence last year, courtesy of Next Gen Stats. So regardless if Cam Curl plays or if someone else, fills in for him, likely Derek Forrest, Trevor Lawrence last year was phenomenal in that deep right sideline when throwing the ball last year. Now, obviously, you see the numbers up there, 71.9 rating, not good, 59.6 completion percentage, not the best, 3,641 yards, pretty good. Touchdown interception ratio, 12-17, not the best. But I'm looking at that league average of 78.5 in that green box there in the top right. His 125 is what he was hitting on. And for me, that's just honestly back to Clemson. It seems like when he had a deep ball, it was always the deep right. I think, because he's a right-handed quarterback, I think it's much easier for quarterbacks throwing it to that side instead of crossing your body, crossing the field to that left side. You have a lot more confidence on that right side. That's where Cam Curl usually lines up in that strong safety role. Of course, I guess he, rotates. He does like some linebacker rolls up top, down there, like with the Buffalo nickel, money back, or whatever you want to call it. But still, that key spot there is going to be huge for whoever is playing, whether it's a not 100% Cam Curl or it is a Forrest or a Percy Butler, someone young coming in. And like I said, that it kind of worries me. I saw way too many plays last year over the top. The Saints, we saw the Giants. We got so lucky. I want to say it was Sterling Shepard over just wide open in the end zone. And it seems like everything kind of started from that right sideline. So not Cam's Curl's fault. We saw a lot of miscommunication last year, with Landon Collins and stuff like that. But still, if you're on that side of that sideline, whether you're William Jackson III or you're one of the corners, Kendall Fuller, doesn't matter. You have to know that you have help over the top, and you have to be confident in who is helping you over the top. So Cam Curl, likely a game time decision. I'm not 100% confident that he does play. I hope he does, because that is a big piece. I think Marvin Jones Jr. has been one of my underrated wide receivers in the league in the last few years, especially when he was back with Detroit. He was one of my betting guys. I bet touchdown bets on him all the time, and it was always hitting. But same with Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk is a guy that I actually studied in the scouting academy, and breaking down his films and really breaking down his game. But what I really like about Christian Kirk is he's like a big body, more dense styled slot receiver, but he can also play on the outside. He's not limited to just being in the slot, and he's not like the smaller body, fast styled slot guy. I was actually really impressed with how Christian Kirk was in that Arizona offense, competing with Rondale Moore. Of course, you've got D Hop on the outside. You've got a lot of weapons, they love to run the ball. Kyler Murray likes to run. So he was kind of limited on his targets and, his shares of that offense. But when he got the ball, he made big plays happen. And there was a lot of plays where he was open but wasn't fed the ball. There was a lot of opportunities there for him. So I think he has a big role for Jacksonville this year. Obviously, has a great young quarterback in Trevor Lawrence that's going to feed him the ball. But he's great after the catch. This is not the game where we can miss tackles on Christian Kirk, and he's taking these short, 10, 15-yard passes to the house on us. We cannot do that. I do not want to be at FedEx Field Sunday and seeing us miss tackles again. That is one thing we've struggled with over the last few seasons, whether it's Landon Collins or somebody else. Linebackers miss it all the time. I see a lot of secondary guys missing tackles. We can't let Christian Kirk eat us up like that. So I think it's a big part. Marvin Jones, obviously a big part as well. And Travis Etienne, you have to be, you have to hold him accountable, not just on the ground, but also in the receiving game. I think Doug Peterson's much smarter than Urban Meyer. And is he going to get Travis Etienne included on this offense much more? He's healthy. He's back. Same with James Robinson. It looks like he might be playing after, being injured last season. So you got these two running backs now that you really have to account for, and they're different styles. I think Travis Etienne's really going to get back to his Clemson days when he was playing with Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, get more involved in that receiving role. So this is what it looks like for me. For Washington, though, is how healthy is Logan Thomas? Is he even going to play on offense? I don't know. For me, Cole Turner said he's ready. I think he starts, which excites me, especially, if you've seen what he's done, at camp. Obviously didn't get to see him in preseason any, but you just seen the flashes of just his athleticism, how he catches everything. I think Cole Turner is going to be a big part of this offense. So I'm excited to see what he does. Then, of course, you have to account for it. You hate to say it, but, Brian Robinson not being a starting running back week one, it's all on Antonio Gibson. He has some help with J.D. McKissick, obviously, Jonathan Williams, but for me, it's just, you have to show that confidence if you're Antonio Gibson. You have to just be like, guys, I know I fumbled. You can't let it get to you mentally. I remember week one last year being there in the end zone against the Chargers, and he fumbled it and gave the Chargers a great opportunity to turn around and score on an easy drive. You can't do that, AG. You cannot give Trevor Lawrence in this offense that I think is going to be much improved compared to last year. You can't give them extra opportunities like that. So looking at one of the most important pieces, though, and it's been talked about all offseason, is how much confidence do you have in Carson Wentz? Which Carson Wentz shows up? And I think not just in practice, but the first little few samples we got in preseason with Carson Wentz, I think he looked great. I saw Carson Wentz that wasn't forcing anything. I saw Carson Wentz that was just taking what defense was giving him, whether it's short, passes to the tight end, or Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, whatever. I want to see that Carson Wentz throughout the season. Yes, you are amazing at these deep passes. You are one of the best deep throwing, quarterbacks in the NFL. If you look at the stats and 50-yard plus touchdowns in the last 5 seasons, Carson Wentz is number one. I think he's had like 6 or 7 in the last 5 seasons. Pat Mahomes and Russell Wilson had 5. But what comes with that is a terrible interception every now and then. And that's the Carson Wentz we can't have. I want to see a consistent Carson. That should be the title of the season. Consistent Carson. That's what we need. Don't throw these awful passes and just limit the mistakes. And you'll be fine, honestly. I have complete confidence he has all the weapons around him. Like I said, with Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin. You've got AG, who's going to be doing some more receiving routes and stuff like that. Maybe not in the first, 4 weeks or until we get, Brian Robinson back. But I think you're going to see more of that. I think you're going to see a lot more of Curtis Samuel in the backfield again. We got a good bit of that at camp. Didn't really see that in the preseason at all. But I think Scott Turner is going to blow this book wide open when he gets all of his weapons. Even before Brian Robinson comes back, I think he starts to open up the book more and people really see what this offensive identity is. And I think Cole Turner was the biggest addition to that. You talk about an Air Coryell offense, going vertical, a vertical tight end, a receiving tight end. Logan Thomas is great, but he's not a Cole Turner in the receiving game with how he runs his routes, just straight up. He's much bigger. He's slower than Cole Turner. He's not as, doesn't have as good as body control and athletic as Cole Turner. He's a, possession, especially in the red zone. Logan Thomas is your guy, but Cole Turner too. But when you need a deep route or, someone who can run a vertical route for a tight end, Logan Thomas is not the guy. Cole Turner is. So for me, that's what you're going to see much more of on this offense. But Carson Wentz is going to be under pressure. And for me, this is one of the matchups to watch. Obviously, Travon Walker, number 1 overall pick for Jacksonville out of Georgia. They didn't draft him because he had, 10 sacks at Georgia last year. He wasn't, performing like Aiden Hutchinson was, and, stats. He wasn't like a Heisman, candidate like Aiden Hutchinson was. He went to the Lions. He was a freak athlete on a just freak athlete Georgia defense all over the place. It seems like every single guy that started at Georgia last year got drafted or will be drafted this year coming up. So for Travon Walker, you see the athleticism. That's why they drafted him. The upside, the potential that he has. And you can say he wasn't 100% used the best way in Georgia. And I'd agree with you. I think there's much more that you can do with him. And I think Jacksonville is going to do that. He's already looked good in preseason. Remember watching that first game, seeing him get off the line, great stiff arms, great spin moves, swims. I mean, he showed everything for me. He had a good bend. He got a sack against the Raiders that looked really good. So I think the potential for Travon Walker is absolutely there. But then you look at the other side, Josh Allen. I'm not talking about the quarterback. I'm talking about the young, athletic Josh Allen that gave the other Josh Allen fits last year when they beat the Bills. That's scary. You have 2 very, young athletic guys on the edge coming at you. Charles Leno on that left side is going to be seeing a lot of Travon Walker throughout the whole game. Then you've got our athletic guy, one of the most athletic, the number 1 relative athletic scoring right tackle of all time in Sam Cosmi, a freak athlete. I think the future is so bright for Sam Cosmi, and he's going to figure out what he's worth this Sunday coming up when he has Josh Allen coming at him full speed. And he was, hurt last year, but before that, he looked so good. I feel really good about, the pass protection that Sam Cosmi brings. When you play Madden, they have like these different schemes and everything. For me, Sam Cosmi is that agile guy. He's fast. He can get on that edge and really contain that pressure. Charles Leno with Travon Walker, love Charles Leno. But once again, that is a young buck that is coming at you just athletic freak. So you have to be on your P's and Q's. You cannot let them get to Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, he's a right-handed quarterback. That is his blind side. Trayvon Walker is going to be coming at his blind side all game long. Now, Fatukasi, their defensive tackle, is questionable for the game. So that middle, I feel good about that middle of the line. Trey Turner, don't know if this is set in stone. He was projected. He's on our unofficial depth chart. He was right guard. And of course, Chase Roullier there at center. I feel good about our middle line. Not too many worries about that. If I'm Antonio Gibson, that's what I'm looking for, that middle of the line to where, Roullier is pushing that line for me. Trey Turner, if it is him or Wes Schweitzer, whoever it is, that middle of the line is where I'm looking for. I'm not running to the outside. I'm not trying to go east and west. Just go north and south, Gibson. Don't second guess his vision. That's one thing that really bugs me when he's running the ball that you can tell is noticeably different from Brian Robinson is his vision. He sometimes has this wide open gap there and doesn't see it, or he just cuts too far out, or he just, instead of hitting the A gap, he'll hit the B gap. You're like, it was right there. But he's still newer to the position. I get it. You can't miss those opportunities when you could break one for 20, however many yards. I mean, we saw it against the Cowboys when he scored 3 touchdowns. The potential's there for him. So hit that middle of the line. Don't try to get too cute on the outside. Leave that up to Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin, whether it's screens, whatever, even J.D. McKissick. But Antonio Gibson is best when he's in space, not when he has to find space. That's how I really summarized Antonio Gibson. You see him in that screen against the Bills, he's already in space, hits it to the house. Any other time where he's in the backfield, he's looking for space, you see sometimes he struggles. So that's something I'm looking for. But also the Jaguars add one of my favorite linebackers last year from Utah, Devin Lloyd, in the middle. He's a big-time player. Was a huge leader of that Utah defense. There was game-altering plays throughout the season for Devin Lloyd, whether it's interceptions, forced fumbles. Devin Lloyd was a guy I wanted so bad. People are going to roast me for this, but Washington didn't need a linebacker once again on one of those higher picks, and we knew that. Our linebackers are going to continue to grow, whether you like it or not. Cole Holcomb, Jamin Davis, you're going to see a lot of 2 linebacker sets this season. That's the direction we're headed. But still, Devin Lloyd in the middle is a big-time player. They got some young guys on the perimeter I like, 2 for corners, especially Tyson Campbell. Only been there for a couple years. They're super confident in him. This is where I think Washington has the edge. It's on those corners against Shaquille Griffin, like I said, Tyson Campbell, where it's Terry, one-on-ones. It's Jahan Dotson one-on-ones. We're going to see a full game of Jahan Dotson. And, man, I'm telling you, people are already super hype about Jahan Dotson, but you have not seen anything yet. Just wait. They're all on the field at the same time. They can all spread the field out. Same with Curtis Samuel. He looks healthy. Him and Carson Wentz have a great connection already. So I think the perimeter is really where Washington can win. And secondary-wise, Andre Cisco and Rayshon Jenkins. Andre Cisco didn't have the best season last year. I loved him in college, though. I think this is only his second season, honestly. But he was an interception machine in college. Big-time safety. So they're expecting big things from him. I've been looking at some Jacksonville things. They think, he changed his number, trying to refresh things up a little bit. They're expecting a big season out of him in Jacksonville. So the defense for Jacksonville last year, 2021, they were 20th in total defense. They allowed 353 yards per game, 26.9 points per game, which is 25th. In third down, they allowed a 66.7 conversion rate. Kind of sounds like a Washington defense at times, honestly, giving up big third downs. Take advantage of that. Calculate, what they're doing, make these adjustments, and hit these third down conversions. Don't be that team. Don't be the Washington that's giving up these third down plays that are killer. So like I said, Antonio Gibson, big time. The thing that I think is going to be missing heavily from Brian Robinson is his pass protection. I don't think Antonio Gibson's nearly as good in the pass protection as B-Rob was. I think he was the best pass protecting back in the draft last year, which is big. It's such a small game, like a part of, a running back, but it can be so vital, especially if Trayvon Walker does get past Charles Leno. He's there to pick that up. Or Josh Allen's coming across and gets past Sam Cosmi. You have your running back there to protect your quarterback. I'm expecting a much better Trevor Lawrence in this game. But our corners have to be physical. I want to see that aggressive defense. Like I said, Marvin Jones Jr. and Christian Kirk, I think they're both super underrated. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. I think it's a great test for our defense off the jump. But I'm telling you that stat with Trevor Lawrence and how much he loves to eat up that right deep sideline really does worry the heck out of me. You got to be on your P's and Q's. And the linebackers, they don't have the biggest names in the tight end room, but it's deep. You've got your Evan Ingram, your Luke Farrell, your Dan Arnolds. It's deep. They have a great depth. It's not the biggest names. We know a lot about Evan Ingram just for his time at New York. But I think this is a good, solid test for the linebackers too in coverage. And then whoever fills in that Buffalo role, especially if Cam Curl's out. That's another thing that worries me. He plays that the best. You can rotate that much easier with him than without him and having to rely on a young guy, like I said, with Percy Butler or Derek Forrest. So there's a lot of different things that can be exploited here on both sides. I honestly think Washington wins this one. I think it is going to be a close game. I hate to say it. I think it's going to be one of those stressful games, but I'm looking at our D-line. So the Jaguars have Cam Robinson, former Alabama Crimson Tide. Know him very well. Ben Bartch at left guard. Not the best option there. Luke Fortner at center. Our old Brandon Sheriff at right guard, of course, and Jawan Taylor at right tackle is projected to start. We know what Sheriff's, like. Jonathan Allen's likely going to be right in front of Brandon Sheriff the entire game. Of course, Deron Payne's going to be right there with Luke Fortner or Ben Bartch, depending where they line up, technique-wise. I want to see some 5-2 in this game, too. I want to see a Montez Sweat with Deron Payne, Phil Mathis, and that zero tech, right over the center, Jonathan Allen, and then James Smith Williams on that outside. And he's going to be the guy that takes Chase Young's place. And I think they're going to rotate some guys. And I think you'll see some Shaka Toney, but I think Smith Williams is the one that they're really honing on to be that guy on the outside. I think he's going to fill in great, fast, had, crazy 40 time. Let's see that athleticism translate to the field. But I just think that D-line against the Jaguars offensive line is going to be too much. And Trevor Lawrence was not good against the blitz. He struggled a lot against the blitz, especially early on in the season, just kind of getting things going. Like I said, I think he's going to be better. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to show why, he was the number one pick, big time recruit, balled out at Clemson. Probably should have won a Heisman if it wasn't for Derrick Henry. So don't take them lightly. This isn't the Jaguars team of the past. This is a good, solid team, and you've got to be ready. It doesn't matter if Cam Curl doesn't play. It doesn't matter if Logan Thomas doesn't play. Someone's got to step up. But for me, the make or break is if Washington on offense lets the pressure get through to Carson to where he's making mistakes. On defense, it's letting Trevor Lawrence hit those open spots, those weak links in the defense, whether, like I said, not a 100% Cam Curl or if it's a Derek Forrest back there or Jeremy Reeves or whoever ends up back there. But then vice versa, I think us getting to Trevor Lawrence early and often, pin your ears back and go after him, get that pressure on him, let him force these interceptions. He had 17 last year. Said he's going to take a jump, but still, I expect him to throw some turnovers this year. So let it happen. Get after the quarterback. But then I think our offense hitting that perimeter and just letting our wide receivers eat. I think that's what can really break the Jaguars is that outside game, whether it's Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel stretching the field out, and then Cole Turner just wide open in the middle really opens the game up for Washington. If I had to pick a score, I hate doing this. According to ESPN, there's a 62% chance that Washington wins. I don't even know what the spread is on this thing right now. 2.5 by Washington. So everyone thinks it's going to be close. And I know the national media has been dogging us anyways. Over-under 44. I think that's good. I think that's a good number. I think Washington's offense just gets to be too much for Jacksonville's defense. I'm going to say 28-24. Like I said, I think it's close. I pray it's not. I would just love a blowout week one. Like I said, especially against the Jaguars, you want to make a statement. But I'm giving them the respect that they deserve. I'm not taking them lightly. 28-24. It's a close one. I might throw some money on this one for Washington. Since, like I said, I'll be at the game. If you're going to be there, comment in the video. Let me know. Hit me up on Twitter at Josh Taylor FB. Let me know you're going to be there. We're going to be tailgating in the red zone lot before the game. Of course, with the Hog Farmers doing some awesome stuff. So be there, be involved with the fans. This is the best part for me, honestly. Like, besides the game, is just getting to see everybody. I'm probably going to get there at like 10 o'clock, something like that. Just to start tailgating. I think I'm in section 305. Don't quote me, but if you're in that section, hit me up. You'll see me there. Not sure I'm going to be wearing. Probably be wearing this hat. In my Jahan Dotson jersey. I haven't decided yet. It might rain. God, I hope it doesn't rain, especially week one game outside. I hope it's just cloudy to where it's not hot. The sun's not beaming down on us. But guys, let me know what you think. Comment what you think the score prediction is going to be, how confident you are in this team. But like I said, guys, watch out for that right sideline. And just like everyone else, I'm seeing if Cam Curl plays and if this is something he can play through with the brace on, whatever it looks like, I would rather him be out there with a limited thumb. Whether it's getting interceptions or not, I'd rather have him out on the field than like a Derek Force or someone super young going against his wide receivers and Trevor Lawrence. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Like I said, guys, subscribe to the channel. Got a lot of big things cooking up. I'll be doing some film breakdowns and stuff after the game as well. And of course, the recap on how the game goes once I get back home from that awful traffic. It takes me like 3.5, almost 4 hours on the way back home from the game. So I'll drop something either super late Sunday night or like Monday morning. So hit subscribe so you don't miss out on anything here on Taking Command with Josh Taylor. And like I said, guys, head over to manscaped.com and use the promo code COMMAND20 and get 20% off your entire purchase. It's 20%. That's a huge chunk of money off of your purchase on these awesome men's hygiene tools to keep you clean. Hopefully we have a clean game on Sunday. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I'll see y'all on Sunday.